Welcome to the Nittany Report, presented by the SteelFlyers All Sports Network, a show where each week after the final whistle of the Penn State game, your host, SteelFlyers, will break down each game with key plays, up-to-the-minute stats, and great commentary. From Happy Valley to all points in the Big Ten and beyond, we are Penn State. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nittany Report. I'm your host, Ron SteelFlyers, and thank you all for joining us. We're here to break down the latest game and see what's coming next. Thanks for hopping on and joining us. We really appreciate you stopping over. By the way, please go over to the SteelFlyers.com website. Check us out. Check out the shows where you can see the Nittany Report. You can see the 2024 season preview, so be sure to go check that out. And you can also check out all the other great stuff out on the SteelFlyers.com website. Be sure to go check that out. So, tell you what, folks, how about that? Penn State comes out with a roar after the weather came out with a roar. Let's face it, there was a major delay right at halftime, so it couldn't have come at a better time. So they didn't even bring the teams out after the second quarter at the end of halftime. They didn't bring the teams out. And then the deluge came, and so it rained really bad, really hard, and so it was bad as far as weather-wise is concerned. The first half, I would have to say that within the first half, Penn State pretty much took care of business. And it pretty much sealed the game with that final touchdown there before the end of the half, making it 20-6 to go into the half. So let's get into some fun stuff, shall we? Hey, how about that? Let's talk about our main man, the quarterback, Drew Allar. Had a great game, was 11 for 17, 216 yards and 3 touchdowns, had a little bit of rushing. And I got to tell you something. He looked in command of this offense, in spite of the fact that there was a new offensive coordinator that came in, and you know, there was a lot of guys, 3 offensive linemen that were lost from last year. Okay, so to see this now, okay, it was the Volunteers, but last year, Volunteers did really well. They were 9-4, I think. They won 9 games after they lost to Penn State last year. They are a good team. I don't foresee them. You know, it's tough when you go up against Penn State as their home opener. Do you know what I mean? So, and then dealing with all the rain and everything and the major long delay. So, I got to tell you something, man. So Drew Allar, 216 yards and 3 touchdowns, 11 for 17, and like I said, he looked in command. It was nice to see him looking a little bit more mature than what he did last year. Okay, you could tell there were times last year that he looked a little shaky. But you know, that was his first year starting. This is second year now, but he's got a new offensive coordinator, so. We're seeing a little bit of a different wrinkle here with the offense, that's for sure. And speaking of different wrinkles in the offense, I mean, folks, come on, we gotta talk about the main guy, Nick Singleton. Holy moly! Well, you know, 13 carries, 114 yards, and a touchdown, and he had a couple catches out of the backfield. I mean, the guy played great. Katron Allen also had some touches, didn't get nearly as many yards as Singleton, but it was more, I think, it was more of a Singleton type of a defense to play against, and that's just kind of how it is. Penn State has that 1-2 punch with Singleton and Katron Allen, and this week was Singleton coming out with 114 yards and a touchdown on 13 carries, 50 yards being the longest. And I got to tell you, that offensive line opened up some pretty nice holes to take care of allowing all running to take place. Well over 200 yards rushing for Penn State in the game today. Well over 465 yards total offense for the team as well too. I mean, when you just kind of look down, they didn't necessarily have the time of possession. That was more of West Virginia, but still, they just when they had the ball were able to take care of things. And even though West Virginia was able to kind of move the ball a little bit against the Penn State defense, it was kind of a bend but don't break. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as they're kicking field goals, I don't care. You know what I mean? So that was all good as far as that's concerned. So Nick Singleton had a great game. And we're happy to see that. Here's another player that had another great game too. Harrison Wallace, the third, had a great day. 5 catches, 117 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty good day. Yeah, you know what I mean. For 5 catches and 2 touchdowns, he was the main target. I believe he had a total of 9 targets for 5 catches and 117 yards. So he was definitely the main target for Drew. Drew did attempt 17 passes, but he completed 11, and of course 5 of them went to Harrison Wallace for 2 touchdowns. And he's looking a lot better too. His routes look a lot more crisp, and he just seems to be a lot more engaged and involved. And I have a feeling that we're going to see quite an interesting wrinkle, like I said, with the new offensive coordinator coming in, and we're seeing that already with the offensive output of the quarterback, the wide receiver, and the running back. I mean, those are all 3 players, 3 key positions that you need to have good play from in order to win football games. And here's the other thing too that is another great thing too that I really like the fact that the offensive line didn't allow a sack. Uh, Once again, offensive line coming through, being able to keep Drew Allar keep his jersey clean. You know what I mean? And that's the key factor. Okay, Penn State was able to log 2 sacks against West Virginia, and West Virginia was not able to sack any of the quarterbacks for Penn State. So that was a good, strong defensive stance to only allow 12 points from West Virginia, while the offense was able to put up 34. So, I mean, all in all, I'd have to say it was a good all around game. Special teams played really well. Defense played really well. Offensive line played really well. Skill positions played really well. I was impressed by the production of the big three. We'll see how that goes as the season progresses. I think by the time we get to game 4, maybe, and once we get into the Big Ten schedule, I think we're going to see a little bit about what's happening here with Penn State and a little bit more of their identity. But they came out really well, and I gotta say I was impressed with the first game. Um, and all points go well for the 8th ranked team. They came out in preseason, or at the beginning of the season. They came out of the gates ranked number 8th in the AP poll, and they are still ranked number 8th in the AP poll after the win against West Virginia University. So, with that being said, let's get into the next game. That's right. We're talking about Penn State football on Saturdays, and this is what we live for, folks. Come on now. We are Penn State. So, how about Penn State's home opener against Bowling Green Falcons? That'll be a noon kickoff at Happy Valley Beaver Stadium. Beaver Stadium's going through some renovations. There's a lot of new things going on there right now, and then there's some new things to come as well. It's a very large project, but you got to be there. It's the what first? It's the second largest city in Pennsylvania when there's a home game at Penn State. What? Come on, got to get up to Beaver Stadium and go check out a game for sure. But Penn State's going to be there against them Bowling Green Falcons, and it's an opportunity for the Falcons. It's an opportunity for them to get some national coverage on the national stage. It's an opportunity for those players to get exposure, to get some tape out there on the national stage. You know what I mean? And a lot of other teams do this as well. Alabama's and Georgia's, and they all play these games to give these teams opportunities to get out on the national stage. And Penn State as well does the same thing. I'm looking for another victory here for Penn State against the Bowling Green Falcons. We're going to see exactly what we got here. If we're going to see some of the same things, if we're going to see maybe Katron Allen be featured instead of Nick Singleton. It's all going to be exciting to watch and check out. And I imagine it's going to be rather white there, I think, in Happy Valley. But for sure, it's a noon kickoff. We really appreciate you all stopping by and checking out the Nittany Report. And you got to say big props and thanks to Big Blue Band for the music. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, big props and thanks to all you folks out there for your listens, likes, subscribes, and all that other fun stuff. So thank you all very much. I'm your host, Ron SteelFlyers. You can catch me on X, and you can catch me on YouTube, and you can check me out on the website, SteelFlyers.com. All you have to do is go into your search engine, type in SteelFlyers, and you can find whatever you need, or you can type in Nittany Report. Or you can go to the website to SteelFlyers.com/links/Nittany Report to catch us there. So really appreciate that. Thank you all for watching. We'll catch you all on the next episode of the Nittany Report. We are Penn State.